Doctors reveal the worst toxin, harming your nerves and causing neuropathy. There are mornings when you awaken to a startling sensation. Your feet feel as though they are engulfed in flames. As you carefully swing your legs over the side of the bed, preparing to stand, the familiar texture of the carpet beneath your feet is barely perceptible. Instead, a peculiar tingling sensation begins to spread, traveling upwards through your calves. Your toes, once nimble and responsive, now feel strangely thick and cumbersome, almost alien, as if they no longer truly belong to you. This unsettling experience is more than just an inconvenience, it can be deeply disturbing. Perhaps you have already sought medical advice, describing these baffling symptoms to various healthcare professionals. It is possible you have heard the term peripheral neuropathy mentioned, a diagnosis that can feel both vague and alarming. In many instances, the accompanying advice might have been dishearteningly similar: it's just a part of aging, or it's likely genetic, followed by the often frustrating counsel to simply learn to live with it. This perspective, while common, fails to acknowledge the profound impact these symptoms can have on one's daily life and overall well-being, leading many to feel a sense of resignation about their condition. However, it is crucial to understand that in a significant number of these cases, such explanations may not fully capture the underlying reality. Emerging research suggests that the narrative of inevitable decline might be incomplete. Recent extensive studies have begun to shed new light on the origins of nerve damage, particularly among older adults, offering a more optimistic outlook for those experiencing these difficult symptoms. The traditional understanding is being challenged by compelling new evidence. For example, a comprehensive study conducted by researchers at a prominent neuropathy center tracked the health of over 8,000 adults for more than a decade. Their groundbreaking findings, published recently in 2023, have fundamentally reshaped our understanding of nerve damage in older individuals. What they uncovered was truly remarkable. A staggering 67% of participants diagnosed with unexplained neuropathy shared a single, often overlooked factor. This factor was not the commonly suspected diabetes, nor was it attributed to genetics, but something far more prevalent and insidious. This hidden influence is something many individuals encounter on a daily basis, often entirely unaware that it is gradually and silently undermining the health of their nerves. Throughout years of clinical experience, working with numerous older adults experiencing burning feet, persistent numbness in their hands, sharp electric shock-like pains, and significant balance problems that erode their independence, a common frustration emerges. Far too often, people are provided with inaccurate or incomplete explanations for why their delicate nerve networks are failing. This can lead to ineffective treatments and continued suffering. Today, we delve into 5 often ignored sources of what can be described as nerve poison, factors that are silently affecting millions of older adults, contributing to nerve damage and neuropathy. The discovery of the #1 culprit in particular proved astonishing even to seasoned experts when the research first surfaced. The research team specifically identified this leading factor as the single most underdiagnosed cause of preventable nerve damage in adults over the age of 60. Understanding these hidden influences is the first step towards reclaiming nerve health and maintaining vital independence. Before we explore these specific factors, it's important to emphasize that all information shared is rigorously supported by published scientific research. However, it is always imperative to consult with your personal healthcare provider before implementing any significant dietary or lifestyle changes. Your individual health situation is unique and requires personalized medical guidance to ensure safety and effectiveness. This advice is intended to empower you with knowledge, not to replace professional medical counsel. Let us begin with the 5th significant factor contributing to nerve irritation and damage: constant snacking throughout the day. Many individuals operate under the common belief that grazing throughout the day, eating small, frequent meals, is inherently a healthy practice. The reasoning often involves maintaining steady energy levels, easing digestion, and preventing overeating. However, Insights from leading metabolic health research centers present a strikingly different perspective on this seemingly benign habit. The truth about constant eating, particularly for nerve health, is far more nuanced than popularly understood. When food is consumed almost continuously, your body's insulin levels remain persistently elevated throughout the entire day. Insulin, a vital hormone, plays a crucial role in regulating blood sugar. While necessary, its constant presence, triggered by frequent eating, means that your nerves are effectively deprived of a much-needed recovery window. This constant state of heightened insulin signaling can prevent the delicate nerve tissues from undergoing essential repair and restoration processes that are vital for their long-term health and function. Consider the findings from a detailed study conducted by researchers who monitored over 2,300 adults aged 55 and older for a period of 5 years. This research revealed a compelling correlation. Those who adhered to a structured eating pattern, consuming their meals within a defined daily window, experienced a remarkable 34% less progression of nerve damage compared to their counterparts who habitually snacked throughout the day. Crucially, this significant difference occurred even when the total caloric intake and the overall quality of the food consumed were identical between the two groups. The sole distinguishing factor was the timing of their meals and snacks. At a cellular level, the mechanism is quite clear and direct. Every time you eat, your body releases insulin in response to the rise in blood sugar. Persistently elevated insulin levels, in turn, activate certain inflammatory pathways within the body. These pathways are specifically designed to respond to metabolic stress, and when constantly triggered, they can directly irritate and compromise nerve tissue. If you are grazing continuously throughout your waking hours, these inflammatory pathways remain active and engaged without respite, creating a chronic state of low-grade inflammation around your nerves. An apt analogy to understand this process is to think of it like running a car engine non-stop, hour after hour, without ever allowing it to cool down. A car engine requires periods of rest and cooling to prevent overheating and wear. Similarly, your body's metabolic system, including your nervous system, needs breaks from constant processing. If the engine is perpetually running at an elevated state, without any opportunity for recovery, it is almost inevitable that eventually some critical component will experience undue stress, leading to a breakdown or burnout. This continuous metabolic strain directly impacts the delicate structures of your nerves, making them vulnerable to damage over time. One individual, a retired teacher in his mid-70s, experienced this firsthand. For years, he struggled with a profound sense of weakness in his legs by early afternoon, and every single night his feet would burn intensely, disrupting his sleep and comfort. He genuinely believed he was maintaining a healthy diet because he never consumed excessively large portions. However, his eating pattern involved consuming something, no matter how small, almost every 2 hours, from the moment he woke at 6 a.m. until late in the evening, around 9 p.m. The crucial intervention for him involved changing only one fundamental aspect of his routine. We simply consolidated all his food intake into a more concentrated 10-hour window. Specifically, this meant no food whatsoever after 7 p.m. Within an astonishing 3 weeks, he reported a significant improvement in his afternoon leg weakness, feeling more sustained energy. By the 6-week mark, the severity of his nightly foot burning had dramatically decreased, dropping from an intense 8 out of 10 on a pain scale to a much more manageable 4 out of 10. He didn't alter what he ate, but rather profoundly changed when he ate, demonstrating the powerful impact of meal timing on nerve health. To effectively implement this strategy, you can begin by gradually delaying your first bite of food by approximately 1 hour after you wake up each morning. Simultaneously, strive to shift your dinner time earlier, ideally aiming to finish your evening meal by 7 p.m. Initially, aim for a 12-hour eating window, meaning all your meals and snacks should fall within those 12 hours, followed by a 12-hour fasting period. As your body adapts, and if you find it comfortable, you can then progressively narrow this window to a 10-hour eating period. Many older adults report experiencing more stable energy levels and a noticeable reduction in nerve irritation within just 2 to 3 weeks of adopting this approach, highlighting its quick and tangible benefits. Next, we move to the fourth significant factor, one that has often come as a considerable surprise to many individuals when its implications are thoroughly explained. Acid-blocking medications depleting B12. Medications designed to reduce stomach acid, particularly proton pump inhibitors, PPIs, are commonly prescribed for conditions like heartburn, acid reflux, and ulcers. While effective for their intended purpose, long-term use of these medications carries a significant yet often unrecognized risk to nerve health. Recent research highlights a concerning link between these medications and a critical vitamin deficiency that directly impacts the nervous system. A pivotal study published by researchers in 2022 from a highly respected medical institution presented findings that should be a serious consideration for anyone taking heartburn medication over an extended period. This investigation meticulously tracked over 4,000 older adults who were regularly using proton pump inhibitors for 3 years. The results were quite stark. A significant 52% of these participants developed measurably low levels of vitamin B12. This finding underscores the widespread potential for deficiency among long-term users. The relevance of B12 deficiency to nerve health is profound and direct. Vitamin B12 is absolutely essential for the maintenance and repair of myelin, which is the protective, fatty sheath that encases nerve fibers. Think of myelin as the insulation around an electrical wire. It ensures that nerve signals are transmitted rapidly and efficiently. Without adequate levels of B12, this crucial myelin coating deteriorates, leaving nerve fibers exposed and vulnerable. When myelin is compromised, nerves begin to misfire, and signals can become scrambled or interrupted. This disruption manifests as uncomfortable symptoms like persistent tingling, numbness, and even sharp, electric shock-like sensations that are characteristic of neuropathy. The underlying mechanism connecting acid blockers to B12 depletion is surprisingly straightforward. The absorption of vitamin B12 from food is a complex process that critically relies on the presence of sufficient stomach acid. Stomach acid is necessary to release B12 from the proteins it is bound to in food, making it available for absorption further down in the digestive tract. Acid-blocking medications work by dramatically reducing the production of stomach acid, sometimes by as much as 90% or even more. Over months and years of consistent use, this profound reduction in stomach acid inevitably leads to a gradual but steady depletion of the body's B12 stores. Because this decline is often very slow and insidious, many individuals and even their healthcare providers may not immediately connect the dots between the medication and the emerging neurological symptoms. Consider the experience of an individual in her early 70s who had been struggling with numb feet for several years. She had consulted 3 different healthcare providers, each of whom attributed her symptoms to the natural process of aging. However, when her B12 levels were finally tested, she was found to be severely deficient. This deficiency was not due to her diet. She consumed ample amounts of meat, eggs, and other B12-rich foods. The root cause was eventually traced back to the heartburn medication she had been taking diligently for 8 consecutive years. Once the connection was made, her treatment plan included supplementing her B12 intake. A sublingual form of B12 was chosen, which is designed to absorb directly into the bloodstream through the tissues under the tongue, effectively bypassing the need for stomach acid. Within approximately 4 months of consistent supplementation, the progression of her nerve damage completely halted. While she did not fully regain all the sensation she had lost over the years, the crucial achievement was stopping the damage from advancing further, preserving her existing nerve function and preventing further decline. This distinction, preventing further damage, is often more critical and impactful than many people initially realize, as it helps maintain a person's quality of life and independence. If you are currently taking acid-blocking medications, it is highly advisable to discuss with your healthcare provider the possibility of checking your vitamin B12 level through a simple blood test. For optimal nerve protection, expert guidelines suggest that B12 levels should ideally be maintained above 500 picograms per milliliter, rather than simply falling within the minimum normal range, which can often still be too low for robust neurological health. In addition to regular monitoring, considering sublingual B12 supplements, which circumvent the stomach acid absorption pathway, can be a practical solution. Furthermore, engage in a conversation with your doctor about whether the acid blocker is still necessary for your condition, or if alternative strategies or different medications might be suitable, potentially reducing the long-term risks associated with B12 depletion. The third factor on our list often proves to be a source of considerable discomfort for many individuals, as it challenges widely held perceptions about health and nutrition: fruit juice and smoothies. Upon hearing this, many people immediately think, but juice is natural, or smoothies are packed with healthy fruit. This widespread belief is precisely what makes these seemingly innocuous beverages so deceptively dangerous for nerve health. Especially for older adults, the perception of health masks a profound impact on the body's delicate systems, particularly the regulation of blood sugar and its consequences for nerves. A significant study published by the Mayo Clinic in 2023 provides compelling evidence that contrasts the effects of whole fruit consumption with that of fruit juice. This research involved 2,000 adults over the age of 60 and yielded striking results. Participants who consumed just 8 ounces of fruit juice daily exhibited a remarkable 43% higher rate of markers indicating nerve damage when compared to those who ate the same quantity of fruit in its whole form. This stark difference highlights that fruit is not a monolithic category when it comes to its metabolic impact. The critical distinction lies in the presence or absence of fiber. When you eat a whole orange, for instance, the natural fiber within the fruit acts as a crucial regulator. It physically slows down the absorption of sugars into your bloodstream. This means that your blood sugar levels rise gradually and gently, allowing your body, and specifically your nerves, ample time to adapt to the metabolic changes. This slow, steady release prevents sudden shock to the system. In stark contrast, when you drink orange juice, the fibrous pulp has been entirely removed. Without this natural buffer, the concentrated sugars rapidly flood your bloodstream within mere minutes of consumption. The effect is dramatically different. It's like comparing a gentle rolling wave to a sudden destructive tsunami impacting your delicate nerve tissue. This rapid influx of liquid sugar creates sharp and immediate blood sugar spikes, which are highly detrimental. These intense blood sugar spikes trigger a damaging process known as glycation. In glycation, sugar molecules directly attach themselves to nerve fibers and to the tiny, intricate blood vessels that are responsible for nourishing these nerves. This sticking process interferes with the normal function of both the nerves and their blood supply, leading to inflammation, reduced blood flow, and ultimately nerve destruction. Glycation is recognized as one of the primary mechanisms through which elevated blood sugar causes long-term damage throughout the body, with nerves being particularly vulnerable. The uncomfortable truth is that many older adults consume fruit juice primarily because they have been advised by well-meaning doctors or family members that it represents an easy and accessible source of nutrition, especially for those with chewing difficulties or reduced appetite. Yet, in reality, for nerve health, it often functions as one of the quickest pathways to accelerate nerve damage, precisely because of its rapid sugar delivery and absence of protective fiber. The perceived benefit is often outweighed by the hidden harm. The solution to this issue is straightforward, though it requires a conscious shift in dietary habits. The most impactful change is to entirely eliminate liquid sugar from your diet. This means no fruit juice, no sweetened beverages of any kind, and no fruit smoothies, which, despite often being marketed as healthy, typically deliver a concentrated dose of sugar without the benefit of fiber. If you desire to consume fruit, opt for whole fruits and do so in small, controlled portions. Furthermore, a critical aspect of consuming fruit wisely is when you eat it. Always aim to eat fruit after a meal, never on an empty stomach. When fruit is consumed following a meal that includes protein and healthy fats, the absorption of its sugars is significantly slowed down by the other food components. This results in a much more gradual rise in blood sugar and causes minimal irritation to your nerve tissue, turning a potentially harmful food into a more benign and enjoyable treat. This brings us to the second hidden source of nerve irritation and damage, a factor that profoundly affects almost every older adult who has sought guidance on nerve health. Eating carbohydrates alone. This seemingly harmless dietary habit is far more pervasive and damaging than most people realize. Picture common scenarios: a slice of bread eaten by itself, crackers as a quick snack, a bowl of cereal for breakfast, or a serving of plain rice without any accompanying protein. These daily practices, while appearing innocuous, are quietly contributing to nerve damage every single day by causing significant metabolic stress. Compelling research has led to updated guidelines from major health organizations, including the American Diabetes Association in 2023. These new insights are based on robust evidence clearly demonstrating that carbohydrates consumed in isolation, without the buffering effect of protein or fat, cause blood sugar to spike 2 to 3 times higher than the very same carbohydrates when eaten alongside protein or fat. For nerves that are already under stress or are prone to damage, this difference is monumental. It represents the critical threshold between manageable, transient irritation and the initiation of active, cumulative damage to delicate nerve tissues. This understanding underpins one of the most vital rules for nerve protection: never eat carbohydrates alone. This simple principle can transform your diet and significantly reduce metabolic strain on your nerves. Instead of plain bread, pair it with eggs or a slice of cheese. Trade your solitary crackers for a serving with hummus or a dollop of nut butter. If you enjoy oatmeal for breakfast, make sure to incorporate a source of protein, such as nuts, seeds, or protein powder. Adopting this single, straightforward change in how you combine foods can have a dramatic impact on blood sugar regulation. According to research published in the respected Diabetes Care journal, simply pairing carbohydrates with protein or fat can cut post-meal blood sugar spikes by a remarkable 40% to 60%. The physiological mechanism behind this benefit is clear and elegant. Protein and fat significantly slow down gastric emptying, meaning food remains in your stomach for a longer period. This extended digestion process ensures that sugars are released into your bloodstream gradually, rather than overwhelming your system in a sudden rush. This steady, controlled release provides nerves with critical stability, shielding them from the chemical burns that high, rapid blood sugar spikes inflict. Consider the case of a retired engineer in his late 60s who sought help for persistent burning in his feet and sharp, electric pains shooting through his legs. His overall diet appeared reasonable at first glance, but a closer examination revealed a consistent pattern. Breakfast often consisted of plain toast with jam. Lunch was typically a simple sandwich, largely carbohydrate-based. His afternoon snack was often just pretzels. Each of these meals, while seemingly light, predominantly featured carbohydrates eaten in isolation. We undertook a comprehensive restructuring of his eating habits. Breakfast was transformed to include eggs and avocado, adding crucial protein and healthy fats. His lunch sandwich now incorporated cheese and a generous portion of added vegetables. For his afternoon snack, pretzels were replaced with apple slices paired with almond butter, again ensuring the presence of fat and protein alongside the carbohydrate. Prior to these changes, his baseline nerve conduction test indicated moderate existing nerve damage. However, after 16 weeks of diligently maintaining these consistent eating modifications, a follow-up test revealed a remarkable outcome. There was no further decline in his nerve function. His pain levels dropped significantly from a 7 out of 10 to a manageable 3. He was able to sleep soundly through the night, a comfort he hadn't experienced in years, and his spouse even remarked that he walked with a steadier gait than he had in a very long time. To implement this crucial protocol, remember one unwavering rule: Every single meal and snack you consume must include a source of protein or healthy fat alongside any carbohydrates. There are no exceptions to this principle for optimal nerve protection. Begin by focusing on your breakfast, as this is where many individuals inadvertently make the biggest mistakes, often opting for carbohydrate-heavy, protein-light options. Once breakfast habits are established, systematically work through your lunch and snack routines. This new approach typically takes approximately 2 weeks of conscious effort to become an automatic, intuitive part of your daily eating pattern, yielding sustained benefits for your nerve health. Now, we arrive at the number one hidden source of nerve damage, the factor that experts say changes everything we thought we knew about neuropathy. Prediabetes, the silent nerve poison most people don't know they have. This condition is the single most impactful yet widely unrecognized cause of escalating nerve damage among older adults. The research unveiled by the University of Michigan Neuropathy Center in 2023 was so profound that it should have commanded front-page headlines globally, yet it largely went unnoticed by the general public. Their groundbreaking discovery fundamentally alters the timeline of nerve damage. The research unequivocally demonstrated that a staggering 50% of individuals diagnosed with prediabetes already exhibit measurable nerve damage. Crucially, this damage occurs before they even progress to develop full-blown diabetes. Let that sink in. Half of all pre-diabetics are silently experiencing nerve deterioration, and the vast majority of them are completely unaware that they are even pre-diabetic. This is an alarming reality. Consider the sheer scale of the problem. An estimated 88 million Americans are currently living with prediabetes. And what's even more concerning is that more than 80% of these individuals are completely oblivious to their condition. This means over 70 million people are walking around with elevated blood sugar levels that are silently but relentlessly damaging their nerves, all while they operate under the dangerous assumption that their health is perfectly fine. The insidious nature of prediabetes lies in its asymptomatic progression, making it a stealthy assailant of nerve health. What makes this situation particularly devastating is the inadequacy of standard diagnostic methods. Traditional fasting blood sugar tests, which measure glucose levels after an overnight fast, frequently miss prediabetes entirely. Your fasting number might appear perfectly normal, providing a false sense of security, while the surges in your blood sugar levels after meals are actively destroying your nerve tissue. These post-meal spikes are the true culprits, yet they go undetected by conventional screening. Further reinforcing this point, researchers at the Mayo Clinic made a critical discovery. Approximately 40% of older adults who had perfectly normal fasting glucose levels were, in fact, experiencing dangerously high post-meal blood sugar spikes. These damaging surges were simply never caught by standard fasting tests, illustrating a significant blind spot in routine medical screening for nerve-damaging conditions. The hidden mechanism behind this undetected damage operates as follows. In a healthy metabolism, after you consume a meal, blood sugar levels rise, typically peaking around 1 hour post-eating, and then swiftly return to a stable baseline within about 2 hours. This rapid return to normal ensures minimal stress on the body. However, in individuals with prediabetes, this regulatory system is compromised. After a meal, sugar levels remain elevated for an unacceptably prolonged period, sometimes for 4 to 6 hours or even longer. It is this extended exposure to elevated blood sugar rather than just the peak level itself that relentlessly damages nerves over time. And because fasting tests only capture the lowest point of your blood sugar cycle, not these crucial and damaging peaks, the ongoing nerve damage frequently goes completely unnoticed until it becomes severe. Let's illustrate this with the experience of an individual in her early 70s. She came seeking assistance, relying on a cane for stability, profoundly unsteady on her feet, plagued by a constant fear of falling, and enduring burning feet that consistently kept her awake at night. Her fasting glucose level was 92, which technically falls within the normal range, leading to repeated assurances that her blood sugar was fine. However, when her blood sugar was monitored 2 hours after meals, it frequently spiked to 180 and sometimes even higher. These post-meal readings were well into diabetic level territory, despite her seemingly normal fasting numbers. Recognizing this critical discrepancy, the entire focus of her treatment shifted to flattening these dangerous post-meal spikes. This involved a strategic approach, completely eliminating all fruit juices and other liquid sugars, ensuring that all carbohydrates consumed were diligently paired with protein, and incorporating a simple yet effective 10-minute walk after her largest meal of the day. Within just 12 weeks of consistently applying these changes, her post-meal blood sugar numbers rarely exceeded 140. Her balance improved to such an extent that she no longer needed her cane for short distances. The persistent nighttime burning in her feet, which had been a constant torment, was significantly reduced to only occasional mild occurrences. While she did not fully reverse the existing nerve damage, she successfully halted its progression. This crucial distinction preserved her remaining nerve function and, more importantly, safeguarded her independence and quality of life. To accurately assess your risk and protect your nerves, it is vital to ask your doctor for a hemoglobin A1C test. This blood test provides an average of your blood sugar levels over the past 3 months, offering a more comprehensive picture than a single fasting glucose reading. An A1C level above 5.7% is a clear indicator of prediabetes and a red flag for potential nerve damage. Additionally, consider using a continuous glucose monitor, CGM, for a period of 2 weeks. This device allows you to observe your actual post-meal blood sugar spikes in real time. After meals, your blood sugar levels should ideally remain below 140 mg/dl at the 1-hour mark and return below 120 mg/dl by 2 hours. Any readings consistently higher than these benchmarks indicate that you are experiencing the kind of blood sugar spikes that are actively damaging your nerves, even if your fasting levels appear normal. Let's now bring all this crucial information together. The scientific evidence is abundantly clear and compelling. These 5 often hidden sources of nerve poison are not merely contributing to, but are actively destroying the quality of life for countless older adults. The most empowering aspect of this understanding is that a significant portion of this damage is entirely preventable. We are not discussing speculative theories or unproven remedies. Rather, we are relying on rigorously peer-reviewed research conducted by some of the most respected medical institutions in the world, including leading university neuropathy centers, Mayo Clinic, and other prominent research facilities. The findings are robust and undeniable, offering a path forward for those affected. Here is a practical, step-by-step action plan you can begin implementing immediately to protect and preserve your nerve health. Week 1. Eliminate liquid sugar completely. This single dietary change is arguably the most impactful and will yield the fastest reduction in nerve irritation. By cutting out fruit juices, sweetened beverages, and sugary smoothies, you immediately remove a major source of rapid blood sugar spikes that relentlessly attack nerve tissues. This foundational step sets the stage for all subsequent improvements, allowing your nerves a chance to recover from constant chemical assault. Week 2. Pair all carbohydrates with protein or fat. Make this a non-negotiable rule for every meal and snack. Whether it's a piece of toast, a bowl of cereal, or a serving of rice, ensure it is always accompanied by a source of protein, like eggs, cheese, lean meat, nuts, or legumes, or healthy fat, such as avocado, olive oil, or nut butter. This strategy significantly slows sugar absorption, mitigating the damaging blood sugar spikes and providing your nerves with a more stable metabolic environment. Week 3. Narrow your eating window. Begin by aiming for a 12-hour eating window each day, followed by a 12-hour fasting period. This could mean finishing dinner by 7:00 p.m. and not eating again until 7:00 a.m. the next morning. If you find this comfortable and sustainable, gradually narrow your eating window to 10 hours. This practice allows your body, particularly your metabolic system and nervous system, crucial periods of rest and recovery from constant digestion and insulin secretion, fostering cellular repair and reducing chronic inflammation. Week 4. Get your B12 and A1C tested and incorporate movement. Schedule an appointment with your healthcare provider to have your vitamin B12 levels and your hemoglobin A1C checked. Knowing these numbers is fundamental to understanding your specific risks and guiding personalized interventions. An A1C above 5.7% indicates prediabetes, and B12 levels ideally should be above 500 pg/ml for optimal nerve health. Additionally, make it a habit to walk for at least 10 minutes after your largest meal of the day. Even this modest amount of physical activity significantly helps to clear blood sugar from your bloodstream, further protecting your delicate nerves from post-meal spikes and promoting overall metabolic health. The belief that nerve deterioration is an inevitable consequence of aging is a pervasive and ultimately damaging myth. Armed with this cutting-edge knowledge and a proactive approach, your 60s, 70s, and 80s do not have to be decades characterized by decline and increasing discomfort. Instead, they can truly be decades of robust stability, sustained vitality, and enduring independence. By proactively addressing these hidden sources of nerve poison, you are not merely preventing pain or managing symptoms. You are fundamentally preserving your ability to live a full, active, and independent life, ensuring that your golden years remain truly golden.